Dear friends, welcome to the channel The Eastern Front. In 1938, Messerschmitt started designing an aircraft for BMW turbojet engines. The first Me-262 aircraft was assembled in the autumn of 1941, but the BMW didn't have time to finish work on the BMW 003 turbojet engine. The aircraft was tested on a conventional Junkers piston engine. In November 1941, the first BMW 003 engines came to the Messerschmitt plant. They were installed on the aircraft, but they decided to leave the piston engine just in case. And for good reason. At the very first flight, BMW engines caught fire and they decided to abandon them in favor of more powerful Jumo 004 engines. The Me-262 Schwalbe, aka Swallow, surpassed any enemy aircraft in characteristics. It could reach a speed of 850 km per hour and climb to a height of up to 12 km. The weight of the aircraft was 3,800 kg. The maximum takeoff weight was 7,140 kg. 430 mm Mk108 guns with 360 rounds of ammunition were installed on it, and the hit of one such projectile could completely disable the enemy's 4-motor bomber. 24 unguided R-4M missiles were attached under the wings of the aircraft. The plane had two main fuel tanks of 900 liters each, the soft 3-layer shell of which, when penetrated, closed up by itself and prevented fuel spillage. The Me-262 was equipped with a Siemens autopilot and a 9 cm thick frontal armored glass. The cost of that aircraft was 5 times higher than the famous Messerschmitt Bf-109, and therefore the Germans didn't hurry to mass-produce it. In 1943, when Germany was defeated on the fronts and lost air superiority, Hitler ordered the production of the turbojets, but not only as fighters, but also as bombers to stop the enemy's offensive. This is how the Me-262A2, aka Sturmvogel, appeared. 2 aviation bombs of 250 kg or one of 500 kg were attached to the aircraft. The Sturmvogel turned out to be an extremely inefficient bomber, since it didn't have any sighting device and accordingly couldn't carry out targeted bombing. In parallel with Messerschmitt, Henkel was also engaged in the development of jet aircraft, but these aircraft modifications didn't go into production. Allied aircraft constantly bombed German factories, and they were forced to split into smaller enterprises and take refuge in caves, mines and forests. All this delayed the start of serial production, which was established only in the second half of the 1944. By the beginning of 1945, only 564 aircraft were produced, and by the end of the war their number was 1,433. The Me-262 was mainly used to fight the bomber, and in this regard proved to be very good, but it couldn't become Hitler's superweapon, as it had a number of significant drawbacks. The aircraft required a runway length of at least 1.5 km and couldn't take off from airfields without the special accelerators. During takeoff and landing, he was easily vulnerable to any enemy aircraft. The Jumo 004 engines had a number of flaws and were unreliable, which caused a large number of non-combat losses. They often caught fire in flight and had a motor life of no more than 25 flight hours. This aircraft couldn't influence the course of military actions as it was adopted too late, but the captured Me-262 made a huge contribution to the development of the world jet aircraft. Many German aircraft factories were exported to the USSR, where they launched the production of a Soviet-improved copy to the Jumo 004 engine, called RT-10, and copies of the BMW 003 and the 003C engine, called RD-20 and the RD-21. These engines were installed on Yak, Su-2 MiGs and other Soviet jet aircraft. Dear friends, that's all for today. It was Tim and the Eastern Front channel. I wish you peace and health. See you.